7 months, I'm proud to be Canadian and more proud than ever to be conservative. I got into this race because I'm concerned about my children and the type of country they'll inherit from Justin Trudeau. A country smothered in political correctness, crippled by debt, and living by the maxim that a smile and a hug will solve all the world's problems. If you haven't noticed, we're in the middle of a war right now. A war on our history, a war on common sense, and a war on freedom. You can barely pick up a newspaper today without someone telling us how ugly our history is, how terrible our ancestors were. Our ancestors weren't perfect, but is not our country a shining beacon of light and liberty across the world? George Orwell noted, the most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. If we win this election, fix the deficit, improve the economy, it will be for nothing if we continue to let the Liberals write the rules of the game. The left is writing the script of what you can say, what you can believe, what you can do. It won't matter how successful we are when they're defining hate speech as being the same as conservative values. You want a real border? You're racist. You're concerned about terrorism? You're an Islamophobe. You want a balanced budget? You hate the poor. Think you should be allowed to own guns? You're a murderer. If you nominate someone today whose only concern is the economy, and they don't understand the left is rewriting the rules right beneath our feet, we will lose in the long run, even if we win in the short run. Let me tell you where we're headed if the left controls this country. Crippling environmental policies that destroy the economy. Differential treatment for people based on their gender and skin color. How about a head tax on male construction workers for all the damage they do in rural communities, according to Justin Trudeau? If you think I'm joking, there's already cafes around the world that charge men 20% more for their coffees just because they're men. The complete elimination of charitable status for all religious organizations. Harsher and stricter penalties for anyone who dares to question the orthodoxies of the left on immigration, the economy, the environment, or even questions of faith. The courts will decide that people have a constitutional right to a living income, whether they work or not. And these things are being actively promoted across the world by the left, and they will come to pass sooner than you think. The only hope for Canada is not that Conservatives win this election, but that they become the dominant party in Canada for the next 50 years. How do we do that? Think about the younger generation. We can't wait until they're 50 before they vote Conservative. We need them now. Studies show that when young people see both sides of an issue, they're not as liberal as everyone thinks. They hate waste. They hate all talk and no action. We will win the youth back one step at a time, and we don't have to act like Justin Trudeau and be all flash and no substance. But we must recognize that the Conservative Party cannot be the dominant party in Canada without the youth. Data tells us that voters in the 18 to 33 age bracket gave the Liberals a majority in 2015. 2.5 times more young people voted Liberal than Conservative. This must change. I pledge not only to actively seek support amongst youth in our riding, but to work with the party on a national youth strategy. Show the younger generation you trust them enough to involve them in the party. Nominate someone with passion, vigor, and energy, someone who's got a lot of fight left in them. It is not enough to win this riding if the Liberals are still running the government. It is not enough to win the election if we have to hand the economy back to the Liberals in the next election cycle. Nominate me, and I will not only win this riding, but work tirelessly to make the Conservative Party the most dominant party in the country. In the shifting sands of the Liberal media machine and their direct attack on basic liberties, if we pretend the economy is the only issue, we will lose this war. The quickest way to lose a war is to pretend you're not in one. Remember, when you're in a war, you need to nominate a soldier. The economy, of course, is also very important, and you'll find me very attuned to the needs of wage earners and small business owners. I've started, owned, and operated several small businesses. I, like you, have had to live well within my means for many years, as both my wife and I attended graduate school without any outside help. I know what it's like to be poor. My wife and I used food banks for 9 months at school when we couldn't afford to buy more food. I know what it's like to work hard and have nothing left at the end of the month. And I know what it's like to strive and want something better. I wonder if Justin Trudeau has ever used a food bank for anything more than a photo op. It's also important to know that we can beat Mike Bossy, who, like his party leader, is big on smiles and low on substance. He'll have a tough time against a younger, abler opponent who can beat him at his own game. He won't be able to tell me that I don't care about the environment when I own an electric car. Yes, I own an electric car, not because it's cool or trendy, but because my wife and I were spending $1,200 a month on gas because of the Liberals' disastrous carbon taxes and terrible energy policy. He can't tell me I don't care for the poor. He can't suggest I'm intolerant because I have a diverse family. I will outwork, outgun, and outsmart Mike Bossio. I've carried a great burden in my heart for this country for many years. This election is about far more than waste and deficits. The very character of our nation is at stake. Nominate me today, and I will never quit. I will never rest, and I will never slumber until common sense, common courtesy, true tolerance, and true dignity reign again in this land, this great, great country of ours. God bless you, and God bless Canada.